This is Kliq, this is the Kevin Nash podcast. I'm Sean. This guy's Kevin. And,
Yo.
you know, it's hard not to have ride a nice warm vibe when you, last Saturday night,
Right.
I was talking to Kev, and he said to me on the phone, like mid-afternoon, he was like, man, he's like, you know, I think you were in a bit of a hole, right? A little,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it was a rough patch for you regarding Tristan. And you said to me, you're like, we got to get to that 100K and get him this damn play button already. So he goes, maybe I'll send a tweet later. So I put my phone down. I'm away from it. It was almost dead, so it was on the charger in the kitchen. I was in the living room. About 3 hours later, I go to unplug my phone, and there is a symphony of amazement from everybody that works on this show, because everybody's watching this live counter on Twitter. And look at the speed of this fucking thing. That's in real time. This isn't sped up. So the comments are popping up there, you can see. And not only did we hit 100, and I think we're like 139 as of this recording, but it just went crazy, Kev.
Yeah. It was, you know, and the thing was too is, you know, Sean and I, we talked about, you know, it's really weird having an urn in your house, because like all of my relatives and everybody, like they're all buried in cemeteries, so there's that complete departmentalization of like going to the cemetery and visiting their grave, and then that's compartmentalized, and you find, when you get in the car and you feel shitty as you drive out, even though they got a pond full of geese and everything else, and then you drive, you know, but it's out in the country away from Detroit, so it's kind of a nice drive. But you know, and when my father died, we did that every Sunday. Went out there and brought fresh cut flowers and did that whole process. So that was like my socialization process, and grieving, and then having something to go to kind of grieve, and it was almost like as the weeks went by, you know, yeah, you knew that your dad wasn't there, but you had this Sunday kind of built in where you would go and you would grieve. And when you have an urn in your house and it sits underneath your TV in your TV room, because you want to be able to, like, I spend more time in my house in my TV room than anywhere else, besides, you know, I'm not going to sleep with an urn. But so I just, you know, I was talking to Sean, and I said, I'm talking to Sean as I'm saying this, but I'm saying this
To the audience.
For the audience. Yeah, okay. And I just said that, you know, it just seems so weird. I said it was like, you know, he wanted that plaque so bad. And I guess it's called something else, a button or whatever it's called, but he knew it as a plaque. And I remember like that one night when we wrapped up and we were starting, I think we got around 30,000 at that time, or 25 or whatever it was. And it was kind of quick. I think we made it got like 30,000 in the first month. And he was like, "Wow, man! Like this is gonna." Like, and in his mind, he's saying, you know, we'll have this by the end of the year. And I just knew how much that he wanted that, so I said. And you know, there were some people that had some things to say, like, "Wow, like, you know, Nash bastardized his son's death to get subscribers," and like, we all watched that same thing in wonderment. It was like during the peak of gasoline prices, and I have to put premium in my Bronco, and it's got a 40-gallon tank. That's what it looked like, you know. Like, and then they'll tell you, you know, on the pump that the limit on a credit card is 75, so you've got to have 2 credit cards to fill your truck up. Let alone, like, don't go past, like, don't let it go to 3/4 of a tank, you'll be there all day. But anyway, so But you've also got to ask, the fan base and people in general, hey, can you do me a favor? And I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't think. I mean, that was my wildest dream, was it would do what it did. I thought that it would be the complete opposite, because that's how my life's been this year. That I would look at it in 3 hours and it'd be at 40,000. And I'd be like, wow, man, like, that didn't work. And then for it to be my wife and I went out to a little Italian restaurant. And I looked at it, and I didn't look at it because Steve hadn't set the counter up yet. So I looked at it, and maybe it was on 70,000 or something like that, 65,000. I was like, wow, like that was a good push. And then we finished dinner, and we got home, and I just wanted to see where it was. And when I did, then the odometer was set. And so my wife's talking to her sister, and I was like, sweetheart, you come down here. She goes, I'm talking to my sister. I said, sweetheart, could you come down here, please? I'm talking to my sister. Get the fuck down here. We might have 30 seconds before this thing pops. Like, it's going so fast. Like, it's like, no, we don't have time. I want you to see this. I want you to see, like, because I didn't know that, it would, I could later on could go back and watch it. And she got down, it was like 98,200. And I mean, from there to 100,000 was like, I think she filmed that on her phone. It was like 2 minutes. So, and it was nice for her too. It was just like, wow.
Yeah.
And the thing that really made me so happy was so many people said, like on Twitter or on our comments, here you go, T. And everything. It was for T. It wasn't. They didn't do it because Kevin Nash asked. They did it because it was for T. And I just,
Well, we had to let everyone know this show was part his too. So,
Yeah.
Upon doing that, people know that it is for him. And you know what? That symbolic play button, and let's face it, the symbolic urn beside each other, one is a reminder of one's death, but the other is a reminder of one's life now.
Exactly.
So it's a nice compliment.
As I said, if you went into somebody's house and you saw an urn and it was sitting there solo, is there a difference in perception to the person in wanting to know about that person in the urn if there just so happens to be an Oscar next to it?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, exactly, right? And I mean, so I looked at it that way. It's just like, they'll look at that and it'll be like, oh, okay. Because you always have to realize that things, 10 years from now, this may not even exist. This might be the fucking phone in the bag, that you first got, your portable phone, and you plugged it into the cigarette lighter. This is what this could be, and people will have no idea what YouTube is or anything else. And
we're going to own Sirius XM radio by then. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
We're going to get Elon to invest with us.
Oh, God.
And we'll program that bitch.
Hey, man, you know what? To me, he's the kind of guy I can work for, because obviously, man, when it comes down to the bottom line, doesn't matter too much.
He's a little left of center.
Yeah.
He'll go for the far-reaching ideas.
Yeah.
But so, in short, we've got, if we just talk about the 100,000, we've got about 35,000 people to thank for Saturday night. So,
no, we were at 35,000, weren't we?
65.
Oh, we're at 65.
We're at 65,
Right,
and
so
then
we had 30. So we had 35,000 to thank, and then another 35. I mean, to me, it's also that overage is always huge, because you've got another. It was basically 100. We got 100% of what we had. you know, 100% more.
Correct. Yeah, it was
know,
a
more
100% plus
more than
increase.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was, you know, so I don't want. I mean, it's just, it's almost. It moved me into such a way that last night.
Well, and I guess we should mention that there was a significant retweet of your request to a gentleman who requested that.
Yes, Mr. Khan.
Mr. Tony Khan said, "I've subscribed, and you all should too." So,
And
shout out to Tony Khan.
Thank you, Tony. Much appreciated. I haven't had a chance to meet you. Hopefully, maybe one of these times we can sit down and break bread and just say, hey.
Well, as I sit here, Kevin, at this advanced hour, I realize, unlike yourself, that I have not punched anyone in the base of the skull and the neck in a long time, nor have I.
Nor am I.
Well, let's get back to it, huh? Let me remind all of our listeners who joined us that this is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, copyright 2022, Butch and Sundance Media. What do you think, Kev? You got another one in you?
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing these until I'm broke.